What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Game number 3 here between Stephano and ObsidiaN. This is a best of 3 series, the third and final game. We are, of course, tied up 1-1 right now. Spawning the upper right-hand spawn location, we've got ObsidiaN as the red Protoss player, and then down over here in the lower left-hand position, Stephano as our pink Zerg player. Alright, so Stephano losing the first game to an 8-gate push, just not having enough to be able to defend himself against it, essentially. But last game we saw a very macro-heavy game for both players. ObsidiaN did have center of the map control for quite a while and was tempting, pushes against Stephano's expansions. Unfortunately, he was not able to commit to any one of those and wasn't actually able to take out any of Stephano's expansions. Stephano eventually just worked his way up into some crazy heavy Broodlord numbers, which is very difficult for Protoss player ObsidiaN to deal with. Now, his response was to get some Void Rays, and he had an amazing opportunity. In fact, I didn't mention this when recapping the last game at the end of it. But there was a point where those Void Rays had no opposition, and they could have torn through those Broodlord numbers. Instead, they did nothing. They like were engaging a queen and like a Zergling. Literally, there was like 6 or 7 Void Rays, and there was no anti-air at all, except for like 1 queen, and about 10 Broodlords just ready to be killed. But ObsidiaN didn't engage, he didn't focus fire them down, he didn't target fire them. And then we just saw a response with all his Broodlords still alive, coming out with like 20 Corruptors and mopping over those Void Rays and then just taking out everything else. Had ObsidiaN taken that opportunity to taking out those Broodlords with the Void Rays before the Corruptors popped, then all of a sudden he doesn't have a lot of Broodlords to deal with. He could have massed up like Stalker numbers, taken out all of Stephano's expansions, and it could have been a drastically different ending. But unfortunately, ObsidiaN did not capitalize on that opportunity, and then we were left in the position where, again, mass Broodlords plus tons of Corruptors mean GG ObsidiaN. So there you go. Now we can see Stephano still just on 1 base at the moment. Extractor is up and mining, or gathering gas, whatever you want to call it. Pool now popping. Going to be seeing a queen come out, a couple of Zerglings, and we should be seeing Stephano then work his way into his expo, and there it is. Expansion actually gets dropped down as ObsidiaN is distracted inside of the main. In fact, I was even distracted inside of the main, so there you go. Now, we're going to be seeing another attempted Forge Fast expand here from ObsidiaN. This is actually a fairly wide angle to have to cover. As you can see, he's actually going to need a third kind of full-sized building here to be able to actually fill this gap, and coming down with a cannon over there. So that's it. I mean, that's a little concern in and of itself. This isn't exactly the best map to Forge Fast expand on, but you know what? It could be a lot worse as well. Overlord now moving out here. First, Stephano will be chilling out and probably just scouting. Yeah, there it is. He actually got the scout right there. Checking out that pylon. Now he knows, like, okay, looks like there is going to be, of course, a Forge Fast expand. I mean, that was to be expected, in all honesty, but you always want to confirm. Zergling fanning out, trying to find that probe. Probe does get spotted by the Overlord. Let's see if the Queen is able to get a few shots off. Should be able to get 1 or 2. Ooh, actually, ObsidiaN pulling all the way back. I think he could have used that resource trick by clicking on the patch, just path right through that, and avoid taking much, if any, damage, really. Trying to go to the middle there, gets intercepted by the Zergling, taking a few shots, and then heading back home. We do have 1 cannon now up, so he should be all set. There is the Cyber Core, leaving just enough room there for his Zealot to squeeze on through that little path. He can walk on back and forth and do whatever he pleases, because there's plenty of room for him. Zergling chasing down the probe. That will end shortly, though, as ObsidiaN makes his way to the Zealot, as well as that cannon. Nothing that Zergling can do. Zergling getting 1 hit. Needs to be careful, not get a second. Should be safe. Oh, juking out that Zealot. Take that, Zealot. You can't take these fast moves. He's like a crazy fast running back. Oh, there he is. Look at that. He just got his steroid inject. Good job. Good for you. Against one of those heavy, slow linemen. Yeah, that's what I consider the Zealot. They are the linemen. Or I'd like to call them linebackers. They're linebackers when they get the charge upgrade. Otherwise, they're just slow, huge linemen. That is it. That's more football references in esports force. Roar. All right, back over here. A couple of Zerglings moving out, and they actually will be just going to the center of the map and probably just trying to catch any stray probes and/or and/or Zealots, like this one, for example. And some nice micro there, pulling back the injured Zergling. Ooh, that guy does get taken out as he moves forward to re-engage. Only losing 1, though. Able to take out that Zealot in response. And actually just make sure that was only... Yeah, he did only lose 1, as expected. Ooh, ObsidiaN scouting out that Overlord. That doesn't really do anything, though. I don't know why I was so excited about that. There's nothing to be excited about. We've got level 1 weapons upgrade coming out for ObsidiaN. Also working on some more Zealots. He's got a few gateways getting placed down over here as well. We'll be now sitting on a total of 4 gateways. We'll keep an eye to see if he decides to come out with any more besides that. And we do have that third expansion now up here for Stephano. In addition to that, layer tech is coming on through, and he is droning up. So there you go, mass droning. And here comes that. Ooh, I was about to say Roach Warren, but actually coming out with that evolution chamber first, and then there's the Roach Warren. There we go. Zerglings now have map control, both the Xel'Naga towers, and actually I think he did take out, yes, I believe he took out the probe that was over here. Was going to be used for some proxy pylon placement, but Stephano was able to scout that out and actually kill him. So very nice play there indeed. Ooh, here it is. Another huge push will be coming from Obsidian. They're at 7 and 8 gateways. So just like game 1, you know, after losing last game, Obsidian said, hey, well, hey, you know, in game 1 I tried this 8-gate push thing and it worked really well. So let's give it another shot. I don't know if it's going to be quite as effective for him here. We'll have to see. We're coming out with a few sentries, of course. Dropping those force fields are going to be very imperative here to the success of this push. Dropping a pylon as well, which effectively blocks that wall off fully and prevents any Zerglings from being able to stream on in for counterattacks. Because even a small handful of Zerglings thrown in a counterattack there could just devastate the resource line for Obsidian. So he wants to make sure he's got a nice solid economy as he kind of throws himself into this 8-gate push. Now again, we do have one big difference here for Stephano this game is that he's got some decent creep spread. That's going to allow him to reinforce much more quickly. You know, last game, one of the big things too was just positioning. And in game number 1, the positioning of his third base made reinforcements very difficult. And oh, catching the probe and killing off that proxy pylon will be huge. Not able to do so though, as this small amount of Protoss force here for Obsidian prevents that from happening. But killing off that pylon was huge. I'm sorry, scouting that and killing off that probe was huge because that prevents the placement of any more pylons outside of the base, and that's going to help him a lot. There's a force field wall trying to prevent him from doing too much damage. Lots of Zergling blood there on the ground. And again, with 8 gateways, we'll be seeing consistent heavy warp-ins here from Obsidian. Some more force fields. That was improperly placed, though. Really not that effective there. That was a kind of a waste of 2 force fields. That third one all of a sudden becoming a bit more useful, but right now those sentries are out of energy, and this is starting to get really scary here for Obsidian. This push isn't going as well as he would like to. Stephano doing a decent job of defending, and he's got a huge buffer here protecting his third expansion. He's going to come down with some spine crawlers. Yes, that is what I love to see. And trying to defend them and allow them to come on in by buying time here with those roaches and feelings. Moving forward to engage. Obsidian moving down with those Zelds, trying to get within range right now of the roaches, and now he's trying to sneak himself closer and closer to allow those stalkers to snipe out those spine crawlers. But the roaches are so resilient. The spine crawler is still alive even after getting target fired down, and Stephano able to push back by sniping down all those Zelds, allowing those roaches to get up within range of those stalkers. And here we go, more and more speedlings coming out. Stephano doing all he can to survive. And the spine crawlers have finished, and that is huge. That is gigantic that Stephano has allowed himself enough time to be able to finish off those spine crawlers. Now we're seeing Obsidian push back, and that is not a good sign. This is not what Obsidian needs to be doing. He can't be withdrawing in this situation. You know, not having that tech up chance and only being sitting on these 2 bases is going to be a huge problem. You can see right now actually working out down this pylon as he's preparing to leave his base, and he's going to the middle of the map. He's going to be trying something else, realizing that engaging against those spines may be an issue. One of the spines rerouting down here, and there it is, Obsidian scouting that, pulling back again, and this is scary right now because when you go for something like an 8-gate push, you really have to do some significant damage. We can take a look here. He is in fact even behind in terms of the resources lost, and since he's retreating, he's just about to lose these 2 pylons, and Stephano's on 3 bases. And look at this creep spread over here. Beautiful by Stephano. We are seeing Obsidian attempt to move down to this expansion. This is going to be severely delayed by that creep spread. You may say, hey, why doesn't it go over here? And why doesn't it go over here? Well, those are 2 very dangerous expansions, and it'd be much easier for Stephano to snipe those out. And actually, Stephano will now be pushing here on this attempted 3rd placement and trying to just delay it. He's going to be trying to delay it as long as possible. Keep Obsidian on 2 bases. If he can do that, then he's going to be a happy camper. And killing off that pylon and pushing on up, and things are just not looking good at all for Obsidian. Again, he really didn't do enough damage in that first initial 8-gate push, and he's so far behind as a result, and things are going to be really scary for him as Stephano continues to tech his way up. We have got now the Overlord speed coming out, allowing those Overlords to fan out with the push and drop some creep. He could even be attempting some Overlord dropping. However, we will need to, of course, see that eventual sack upgrade come on through at some point if he wants that to happen. Again, Obsidian trying to place an expansion. Oh, he loses it. Loses the expansion. Didn't even cancel it off. We would have saw that resource refund if he did. Not canceling it off means he just took the hit in resources there. That is rough as he falls further and further behind. Stephano has map control at the moment, and he's doing a fantastic job of preventing this expansion from going. Look at his army. It's just so many roaches. Oh my gosh, we're 14 minutes in the game, and he's just massed up with roaches right now. Let's take a look at that number. 50 roaches, 44 zerglings, and he is just going to be continuing to throw his forces at his opponent here and delay that expansion. Pushing up the backside. He's going for a sandwich here, moving at both angles. Speedlings and roaches from the top, roaches from the bottom. All of the stalkers and zealots sandwiched between these forces here, and Stephano just works through everything Obsidian has. And Obsidian trying to use a little bit of micro and engaging with those probes to try to help his cause, but I don't think it matters right now. There's too many roaches, and Obsidian calling the GG, and there it is, guys. Game number 3 going to Stephano. All right, guys, hopefully you did enjoy that. This series going to Stephano, as we saw, 2 games to 1. Very, very nice defense there by Stephano, buying time to allow his spine crawlers to come into play and continuously churning out units. That was just absolutely beautiful. Also, some improperly placed force fields by Obsidian and just not capitalizing on that strength of the AK push. Unable to take out this 3rd expansion, pretty much sealed his fate right there. There you go, guys. Game number 3. Hopefully you did enjoy this series between Obsidian and Stephano. That is going to do it for StarCraft for today. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more StarCraft commentaries and more great content here on the channel. Be sure to subscribe if you like the content. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.